Hi, Big Tractor Power fans. This video comes to you from a recently harvested cornfield located in western Kentucky, where a 640 engine horsepower John Deere 9RX 640 articulated track tractor is working on fall tillage with a 49-foot, 6-inch wide John Deere 2660 VT Variable Intensity Tillage Tool. In this presentation, I would like to take viewers for a ride in the cab of the tractor to visit with the farmer about the tillage operation, and then I'll share with you the production history, specifications, and base list price of this big farm equipment. But first, let's head out to the field so that you can see and hear all this tillage action. The 2660 VT is working these corn stalks under to prepare a seed bed for winter wheat. The crop was high yielding this year, around 250 bushels. Stalks are here about 3 weeks out in the field, but you still can break them, but they don't come up by the root, and they want to size this residue, make it easier for the drill to put the wheat in the ground. We can see when it goes over, it's taking out the corn roots, breaking those right out of the ground, and mixing up the residue here in the field, making a nice seed bed, easy to plant into. I'm up in the cab of the John Deere 9RX 640 tractor, 640 horsepower machine. It's running at 8.5 miles per hour with a 49-foot, 6-inch wide John Deere 2660 VT vertical tillage tool, turning under corn stalks, prepare a seed bed for winter wheat. I'm here with Corbin, who is running the tractor, and there's a lot to talk about with this implement. It's doing a really nice job out there in the field and has a lot of mechanical and technology features.
The thing has a lot more technology features to it than I ever would have dreamed it had. There's so many different calibrations and everything to this, but I mean, when everything is set right and running right, and this is a new tool to us, we just basically, this is basically the second day of running, so we haven't really learned everything to probably put this thing to its optimal, you know, performance. But we're getting closer as it goes, finally figuring out how to get everything set. Thanks.
I was going to say, when we look at the screen, when you're setting it, you've got settings for corn, soybeans, heavy and light residue, so that must be very handy for the aggressiveness that you want to turn the field over at.
Right. I mean, we're running this probably more aggressive now than what any of the other settings are as far as depth, just because we're trying to knock these root balls up and trying to level up pretty good best we can and bury residue. You know, with this even actually being a VT tool, it's not, I wouldn't think it's supposed to move as much as a regular disc, but the thing is pretty impressive on how much it's actually doing. Like right here, you can change your angles on your pitch of your blades to see how much material you actually want to move.
If you can do that right when you're moving?
Yeah, I can do this right now. see, that is taking the angle away from it. And like what we was talking about earlier, I don't know if you can hear on the tractor, I mean, just by moving it, you know, 3 or 4 degrees, we picked up, you know, almost a half mile per hour.
Yeah, we're getting closer to 9 miles per hour there.
Closer to 9, and hardly any engine load there. But whenever I move this back to 10, I mean, you can already tell the tractor loading back up as the tool's adjusting back. Running it right around 4.5 inches deep. Every time, get out and measure and check, it is dead on. Dead on that.
So if you lighten it up to the soybean residue, we'd probably feel the tractor as well as far as the load on it.
Yes. Oh yeah. See, we can change it real quick here. Soybeans. So now they're wanting to do it at 3.5. The angle at 4. It's actually changing our basket pressure to 400. But as you can tell, I mean, we went basically 0 engine load, or half to 3/4 engine load here. And before we was at 100, 105% the whole way across the field. Pretty neat how tool on everything it's allowing you to do to pick your own parameters on how you want it to what matches best for you. I mean, ground conditions are so crazy from up north to here. I mean, it's I think it's going to be a very versatile tool to what we're going to have.
Well, we're coming up here to the headland, and we're taking over here to turn it around. So it's nice to have the auto steer as well, so you're making perfect passes across the field. You can see the tractor and implement are nice and tight turning. It's got the gauge wheels there, which help on the turn for support, as well as the ride across the field for the implement. And then push the button, it takes over and puts it right back on that next heading, making that perfect 49-foot pass. So there's also, in addition to setting your blades and your depth, there's also a lot of technology as far as setting your basket, how you want the finish in the back. It has the hooded edges over the blades to keep the dirt from throwing out ridging.
And it's even got 2 blades in the center that's for your front gang and your back gang, depending on your pitch. It's tied together too on, and whenever it's hooked together, whenever you move them, they're turning along with the blade to fill in your gap that you'll have in the center. So with this thing, I can't remember exactly what it is in the book there, but whenever the more angle you run, actually the narrower the tool gets. If you think about it, you know, you take your hands, you're pulling it like this, but when you got it straight, the wider the tool being and less aggressive. So there's a lot of, I mean, like I said, this thing is probably way smarter than I'll ever be, but I'm trying to figure everything out. But there's a lot of automatic features on it to it. It'll go through like a self-calibration mode on it if you turn it on and allow it. That's what I was doing with earlier. You know, keep everything in sync and make sure.
There was an issue earlier where it was putting just a little bit of a ridge on one side, and so you were able to just hit a recalibration button, and it re-leveled it, and
re-leveled it, and it was throwing a ditch on one side, and you know, I'm thinking tool problem somewhere else on adjustment, on and on, but actually all it was in here, just one of the gangs, and I'm assuming it was the back one. It may have got a degree or 2 off from the other, and it's just raking too much in. So, but if you look behind it now, you'll see just a little bit in the center, but on each side it is perfectly smooth and level. You cannot tell where each pass is meeting.
So this is also a very big heavy-duty implement. I mean, it just looks impressive in the field. 9RX 640, biggest tractor John Deere had for the last several years, until the 9RX 830 and 770 and 710 have just come to the market. But those are kind of the tractors you might want to look at in the future to run something like this, because you're maxed out on your engine load right now with this implement.
For the way we're running it now, as aggressive as we're running it now, we're pretty well maxed out right here at 8.5. I could probably run it harder, and pull it faster in spots, but I'd rather slow and steady wins the race, in my opinion, sometimes, instead of just dogging the tractor the whole initial time across the field.
But it definitely knows it's back there.
It definitely knows it's back there, yeah. I mean, with the tracks, I mean, we're not slipping. You know, you're still getting 1 to 2% slippage out here in this field. That you're never going to notice that, but I mean, it's just.
What kind of fuel efficiency do you see from the tractor?
From what we were sitting there watching earlier, I mean, you're running at max load. This thing is burning like 30-31 gallon an hour, and sometimes close
right
to
now
32.
we're running about 270, 2070 RPMs.
I mean, right now we're at 31.4 gallons an hour. That adds up pretty quick throughout the day.
But also, what kind of acreage are you covering?
But we are getting over. I mean, right now running 8.4, we're getting 50 acres an hour, just say. So
that's pretty good. In this field, what size field are we working in there?
Everything here together, just say 560, 540.
So that's pretty good to be getting that kind of acreage an hour.
Oh, yeah.
So you're burning just a little over a half gallon to get this ground turned over.
Half gallon to, it was showing 0.8, I think, when I was sitting there watching the instant earlier and staying with it. So it's a lot of fuel, but I mean, when you start considering the time that you're running, I mean, and the acres you're covering over, it's not as bad as you think.
It is. It's important to make that good seedbed. Farm does a lot of no-till on wheat in past years, but all these corn stalks wear those disc blades out on that air drill, so making this pass is leveling everything out, getting the sprayer ruts out, and making a good seedbed.
I mean, for what we're doing here, you think about stubble wear on your tires for other passes, knocking that out, smoothing the field up too will help tremendously.
Disease control carry over from the crops.
It will.
Well, I appreciate the ride along. It's nice to see one of these in action.
No problem. Come back anytime.
The John Deere 9RX 640 was introduced by the company for model year 2021 and remains a current product in 2024. It is manufactured in Waterloo, Iowa, and powered by a 13.6-liter, 826 cubic inch John Deere 14 6-cylinder turbocharged engine rated at 640 engine horsepower. It has a power boost up to 691 horsepower when the tractor encounters tough field conditions, and it offers 335 PTO horsepower. It is fitted with a 400-gallon diesel fuel tank and a 56.5-gallon diesel exhaust fluid tank for clean engine solutions. It features a John Deere E18 full power shift transmission with 18 forward and 6 reverse speeds, which allows the tractor to travel from 2.5 miles per hour up to 25 miles per hour. When the 9RX 640 rolls off the assembly line, it weighs in at 56,320 pounds, and it can be field weighted up to 67,000 pounds. According to JohnDeere.com, the base list price on a model year 2024 9RX 640 is $968,384. The tractor working in this video is equipped with 36-inch wide belts, and they cost an additional $18,923, and it also has a 120-inch wide spacing, which is an upgrade of $23,053. The tractor is operating a 2660 VT Variable Intensity Tillage Tool. John Deere introduced this implement for model year 2019, and it remains a current product in 2024. The 2660 VT is offered in sizes from 14.4 feet all the way up to 49.6 feet, and the largest model is the one working in the video. It's manufactured at the Des Moines Works located in Ankeny, Iowa. It's equipped with 22-inch Commander wavy straight blades that have a double cut edge for chopping up residue and incorporating it with the soil. The blades can be adjusted from 0 to 12 degrees depending on the intensity of tillage the farm wishes to complete. The 2660 VT's blades are spaced at 7.25 inches apart and have a recommended operating speed of 8 to 10 miles per hour. The implement requires 10 to 14 horsepower per working foot from the tractor. The 49.6 inch foot wide model working in this video folds up to a narrow 15.3 feet in just under 2 minutes. According to JohnDeere.com for model year 2024, the 49-foot 6-inch wide 2660 VT has a base list price of $283,287. I hope that you've enjoyed spending some time out in the field with and up in the cab of this John Deere 9RX 640 track tractor, working with the 2660 VT Variable Intensity Tillage Tool. I would like to hear in the comment section below this video if you use a vertical tillage implement on your farm. Tell me about the brand that you're running and the tractor that operates it. If you have appreciated this presentation, I hope you'll consider subscribing to Big Tractor Power YouTube, where there's over 3,000 videos of farm machines in action. As always, thank you for watching.